Alrighty, welcome to a build. We're going to work on my motorcycle. You guys saw it when I was working on the garage. It needs some help. We're going to get right into that. That's this next project. Stand by, I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, so you guys saw this in the garage build. If you're watching, if you didn't see the garage build, go out and check that out. But what we're going to do is try to figure out what's wrong with this motorcycle. On the most recent motorcycle ride I did with my buddy First Sergeant, it became very unreliable during startup. Once we got it started and got it warm, it would run fine, but it would not start to save its life. And what we're going to do is we'll give you an example to show you what that's like. But I've had this motorcycle for a pretty long time. So 1987, I think I've had it since 2000, 2001. It's got 69,000 miles on it. My goal is to get it to 100,000. The only state that it hasn't been to in the continental United States is Alaska, and that's the goal for this year, COVID not excluded. So we're gonna try to do that. But the first thing we gotta do is get this thing running, and we'll walk through that process. All right, we got this thing moved over here, kind of better in a working area. We're just gonna leave it here until we get running and try to figure out what we're gonna do with this. First thing, I want to show you how hard it is to start, or impossible to start. And then we're gonna walk through the items that I think are causing problems, and then we'll go step by step from there. We'll walk you through my thought process. All right, now if it's running correctly, it should start right away. So as you saw, it took a long time for this sucker to start. Now the question is why and how we're gonna fix it. Okay, so you saw that the sucker was really hard to start. It's not normal. The bike has always been an easy starter. When it's cold, you know, like anything, it takes a little bit to get it started, but it should start fairly quickly and not struggle like it does. I'm actually surprised the battery didn't die. I had the battery. It's been on and off charger while it sits. But now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through the process of what I'm thinking about how to repair this. Now, as a tutor or as a mentor to you, my job is to tell you not just throw parts at it. We're gonna walk through it in a systematic way. I wanna show you the list that I created. What we're gonna do is start walking through each one of those and how you go about doing it. The key here to remember is for anything to run mechanically, as far as an engine concerned, it needs fuel, air, and spark. Well, we know it runs, but what's it not getting the first of easily when it wants to start? So we know it has fuel, we know it has spark, and we know it has air. The question is that air-fuel mixture ratio wrong? Or is it not getting enough spark? Or is it not getting enough fuel at startup? Because when the engine's cold, it's gonna need a little bit more fuel to get started for the air-fuel mixture ratio to be a little bit richer. Question is, where do we start? Okay, first place we're gonna start is right in here. This intake gasket right here is cracked. And we found that when First Sergeant and I were on a motorcycle ride, because this bike was running well on the ride and then it just stopped running well all of a sudden. So what caused it to do that, I'm not sure. As you can see, I still have not got any chalk for the chalkboard. I need to find someone to do that. Now the to-do list, what we're gonna look down and kind of work through it is, we're gonna look at the intake manifold first. I've got some parts on order. I'm gonna show you, we'll take those off and then we'll wait for the new ones, we'll get that on. All right, so my next thought is the ignition coils. Bike is 24 years old, so the ignition coils could be going bad. The next is fuel. Is it getting enough fuel pressure? Now, I personally replaced the fuel pump on this bike about 3 years ago. I go back and look at my references. The next thing is valve timing. Do we have the valves correctly set? That could cause issues with starting as well. Now getting down to a little bit more engine damage or something that's not correct, we got valve timing, make sure that's correct. Wires, we're getting wires that are frayed. And then lastly, are the fuel injectors not working correctly? Those are kind of tied together between this and the fuel. So we're gonna start with the intake manifold because I know it's cracked and that's gonna cause a fuel mixture issue, actually a fuel lean issue because it's getting too much air in there. Now, the next thing I wanna point out to you guys is, all right, we got a manual here. All right, and that's the climber's manual. If you don't know about manuals, you guys can go check out that episode. There's a manuals and owner's manuals and repair manual episode. And I've done a little bit of research in here. I've also done a little bit of internet research. Now the cool thing about the internet and the world today is there's a lot of people out there having the same issues you are, and a lot of people go out on forums and put that information out there. Now the key is, do they have the right information? Is it correct? Is it accurate? We're not sure. And that's where I'm here to guide you and give you a little bit of knowledge to think about constructively. Is the information you're seeing on the internet, is it correct? Is it skewed, or is it apply to you? Now, it's like anything out there, everybody's opinion, you get what you pay for. If you're not paying for their opinion, you're not paying for their work, you gotta be careful with it. Now, what I've done is some research out there on the forums and put in the motorcycle, the year, I typed in cold hard start, and it came up a bunch of ideas. Now, there was a lot of things that were more complicated. People are going dramatic as far as it's broken this is broken. But there was also a couple institutes where they said, hey, that intake manifold is a problem. Well, I know my intake manifold's a problem, so we're gonna start there first and work up to these more complex issues. It's a 24-year-old bike, so that rubber does wear out and gets cracked, so it does need to be replaced. So we're gonna start there and then work our way up. All right, first thing first, we're gonna take off this throttle body. What this is, it provides fuel injection and fuel into the intake, and it provides air mixture as well. So we're gonna take this off. There's the intake manifold, the rubber piece that we're talking about. And if you look at it, there's a little bit of stain as well as oil and stuff coming out from here. So we're gonna look at that, take that apart, and see where it goes. Now the key here is to be very gentle. These plastic pieces can be flexible, but they also can be very brittle and break, as well as the injection points here for the fuel injector controls. All right, here we go. All right, the challenge here is that this plastic intake manifold or intake runner, and this goes into the air filter, there's a rubber gasket here and then there's a rubber gasket in here. And it's been years since I've had this off. So they're very stiff, but you gotta be very careful with this. Is if you break this, you have to replace this whole air box, and that is not a fun job. If I'm not mistaken, you have to take the transmission out to get this air box out. So I don't wanna do that. Whew. Here we go. Our body is off. Nasty. What I'll do is I'll get my little camera that attaches my laptop, and I will run the camera down in there to make sure I don't see any cracks or anything like that while I have this open. The good news is it's not as bad as I thought it was. The bad news is it was not the problem I thought it was going to be. So kind of back to square one. One side down, one more to go. Nastier. Here's the intake gasket, or intake runners. For this is where the air comes in through the air filter. And this was the challenge. You don't want to beat this up. This edge around here is either chewed up by me or it's chewed up in the past. So that's why you want to be careful not to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to go get some fuel injector or carburetor cleaner, and we're going to clean these up. I'm probably going to take these fuel injectors out, and then while I have them out, I'm going to put new gaskets on. I'm going to take this off and repaint this rustiness there. And then I'll put new gaskets here. We'll order new gaskets for these as well. There's the intake manifold where it mounts to the engine right there. This was a screw that was missing. The good news is I thought it was stripped out and it was not, thankfully. So plan B is I'm not sure what causes the problem. You saw me come over here. You saw me fighting with the fuel lines a lot, and I got them clamped off with vice grips here and a vice grip there, and I got those all shut off. These are quick release lines. Well, this is plastic and they get eaten up quite well, or they broke on me. So what I need to do is order some new ones and go from there. As I mentioned earlier, you want to take a systematic approach on this. So this intake manifold, we knew it was kind of bad, so I need to fix it. Next, I think I'm going to look at the coils. I'm going to do some research on that and how to test those. And then also we're going to test the fuel line and the fuel pump pressure. And then I'll look at the valves, timing, see if there's any wires that are frayed. All right, we're going to clean up this mess. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some things back on this bike. And we're going to try out the new car washing / bike washing equipment I got, and I need to clean this nasty floor while I'm at it. All right, for you viewers that are out there already, you guys know I like to listen to audiobooks. In addition, I like to listen to podcasts when I'm out here working the garage. Two of those podcasts are Muscle Car Place as well as Kibby and Friends. My buddy Rob Kibby, he runs both of those. Great podcasts. Kibby and Friends is an auto pop culture podcast. They talk about anything pop culture. Him, Justin Cornett, those two get it out. They talk about all sorts of things. Additional Muscle Car Place, I like to listen to that as well. I'm not in it as much, but it does help me keep tied in. So I get my stuff off of Apple. I get it tied there. If you go out to his website, I guarantee you. Skechers is another place you can grab it, but check him out. Rob Kibby, Kibby and Friends, Muscle Car Place. Okay, what we're gonna do is wash the bike. It's long overdue. It also helps me keep my hands clean and everything else clean when I work on it. It also allows me to look for things that might be broken, cracked, frayed, or leaking after it's clean. So it ought to help as well. It's quite dirty from the last motorcycle ride. Alrighty, let's get at it. There she is, washed out. You can see, look over there, the garage is nice and the floor is nice and clean now. Got all the soot from the road off, from the snow and all that sort of stuff. She's nice and clean. Is she a detail perfect? No. All you detailers out there, you're welcome to come over here and give me a call. I'll let you detail her. But honestly, she is a on-road, off-road, dual sport bike. Spends a lot of time being dirty. I just wash it so I can help look for things that need repaired, any cracks, any things like that in the spokes. I can do some inspections on the frame, make sure there's no cracks in the frame, etc. So just overall maintenance for cleaning will allow you to look at other things as well. Not too bad for a 24-year-old motorcycle. Nice and clean. All right, so what we're gonna do is wrap it up. I've got the intake manifolds on order. Now that I've taken that apart, I need to order a few gaskets and kind of do some research on that. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap it up for today. That's the end of the motorcycle episode for today. We're gonna get some parts ordered. We're gonna do a little bit more troubleshooting. I'll walk you through that. We'll get everything put back together and then kind of work through the next troubleshooting stage as we talked about. So we'll look at the coils. We'll also talk about the valves, check the valve adjustment and things like that. Just kind of go down the order to see where we're at, see what fixes it. Hopefully maybe the intake manifold gasket, that'll fix the problem for the hard start. And then after that, it's just regular maintenance. Get it ready for this upcoming season's motorcycle riding season. All right, we're gonna wrap it up for today. You saw me clean the motorcycle. I started doing a little bit of intake manifold work on that. We're gonna walk down a little bit of repairs that need to get done on the next episode. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell thing, and when you know episode 2 is gonna come out for this video as well. A lot of other things coming out for you viewers that are just starting the beginning. All this stuff I showed you today, it's kind of like level 2, maybe level 3, but mostly level 2 stuff. For those beginners out there, I got some other stuff coming for you as well. All right, stay tuned for more. We'll talk to you guys later.